welcome back, guys. Today I want to show you the bow. I only did a quick short about the bow and haven't really got a chance to show you guys it in detail. I think it's pretty awesome. It looks as if they were growing these bows, like they grew it into a circle at the end. It's pretty amazing how they did that. So I'll go ahead and try to give you guys a full shot of this bow, like the thickness here, how thick it is, and that defined handle. Looks like the other side got a little messed up, but you can also see the other side is kind of grown into a circle. In this area, I did see grafted plants that were stored in the clay, and so they knew about plants, they knew about nature, probably like we don't even know yet. But isn't that wild? So I want to show you guys this. This probably needs to be in a museum. I shouldn't be just having this at my house, you know, just handling it like this. Since I've taken it out of the clay, it has shrunk, I think. I'll give you guys a good look on this end here. Ooh, sorry. It's very light because of course it is probably a couple thousand years old. You can see that wild circle there. I'll try to keep it focused for us. So what I'm going to do is I'll put it in my hand here. Try to back up a little bit so you can see the whole thing. So I guess it would go like this because the ball, you know, that where the wire would go, I'm not sure. I guess it would go like this, wouldn't it? I'm not sure which way it would go, but I don't know that much about archery to tell you, but it's an old bow. So what I've learned about this site is to never expect anything, because you find things that you would never expect to find. I found fishing net. I tried to pull it out of the clay, but it's so buried in there and it just started ripping up. So this is like a spear point, a wooden spear tip. And today I'm gonna show you guys some of the arrowhead pieces that I picked up, traditional archaeology stuff. This is an arrowhead as well. It's got the tip broken, of course. It may have been a knife blade because it is kind of curved there. But it actually does have faces on it, much like this one does as well. But when you get good enough to see the faces on things, and you see the faces on these, they invoke an emotion within you that produces about 3 millimeters of sweat on your forehead. It really gets you fired up. This is a weapon, and that's why. There's also about one face, maybe two, on this stone tool. I guess it's like a hatchet, and I'm gonna haft this right now with you guys and show you what it looks like when it's on this handle. This handle that's been preserved in clay for I don't even know how long. So it does work when you put it straight in like this, and it even has some of the markings there where it was hafted, but it seems like it fits better like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick that on there for you guys right now and show you how centered it gets, and how it fits in there just perfectly. And so you can actually, once you get it down here, you can give it a little tap there, and it just sits in there perfect. So this would be like a ground hatchet, and which makes sense because they were, you know, burying these effigies and burying these things at this site. These are some of the images that are in some of the effigies. I drew these early on when I first was able to see this art. So I know that they made fishing weights. So this is, I think, a fishing weight. I found it in the river, or in the creek there, right on the side of the creek. It does have a hole through it, as you can see. And the fishing nets that are also found in the areas kind of point to, yeah, they were probably, you know, throwing these down, putting little nets out and fishing with them. I don't see any figures on this one, but maybe you guys will be able to. But this is more than likely just a tool, like I say. So there's a couple other little dowel rods and things that are out there as well. Very old. This is extremely light. So I'm going to show you now the birdstone. So these are artifacts that are found in other sites in North America. It's called a birdstone. That's the beak, and that would be the tail there. And I guess if you put it this way, that would be the beak and this would be the tail. But it's like a maybe a drawing implement or a carving implement. Maybe like a pencil. Or it just may be a type of, you know, totem. So when you hold these in the left hand, a lot of times what it does, one of the first things that I noticed when I started finding these is that you can put them in the left hand and they all fit exactly the same. And they'll make the outside of your hand look the same. It'll make your front finger point out just a bit. Pretty interesting. So here's another little piece of wood. I think it was just a broken, you know, handle. But that was also packed in the clay. This does have a point on it. It may just be a sliver of wood, who knows, but it could be also a dart for maybe hunting the birds that are everywhere in this spot here. There's a lot of birds here in Alamance County, North Carolina, and that's where all these are found at. So a couple of small scrapers, and let's see if we can maybe haft anything else. I see that I have out here a broken arrowhead or spear point, perhaps. The tip of it is broken, and that's the way that a lot of these things are. You won't get a full arrowhead many times. I haven't been able to find like a completely full one. What it is these broken ones will be stored in underneath large arrowheads, like the gateway piece. They'll be underneath these, and this would be placed on top of it, and these would be wrapped up in clay. So they were perhaps, you know, things for the afterlife, or not exactly sure, but this one is flat on the one side and then sharp on the other. So it could be used as, you know, the same type of deal, like maybe a hatchet, or maybe it was just used as a spear point at one time. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back. Oh. Don't worry, it's thousands of years old, and if it breaks, I think I can probably find another one. But it does seem to fit in there pretty well. This little knife handle here. This does not have any, you know, it's just a dowel rod. It's just a stick of wood, but it is cut flat, of course, on both sides. Let's see how this one, see if this one halves on here. Kind of, yeah. I could see how that would work. Very neat. So I have a couple versions of beard Mohawk Guy out here, and I'll go ahead and show you those real quick. So this is Mohawk Guy. He has a mohawk, his left side profile. On the camera, we might be able to pick up on some paint still, or some carved in eyes. There's an eye right there. So he has like the really tall hat, and that is an archetype that they have. And so once you turn it just the right way, you can see the little tiny lips poking out again. And then when you turn him over, he turns into Beard Guy. Oh, see on the camera, you can really see. So his eye is carved in there, his nose, and then his mouth down here. So he's still got a headdress on there. He's just got the long chin. There's several images in this. There'll probably be one on the left side profile as well. These are effigies, Native American or pre-Native American. According to North American archaeologists, though, they are just rocks. Here's another one. This is the same version of that same thing there. Let's go ahead and flip them over, see if we can see any carvings or paint. So I can see a little bit of the carved eye or painted eye on there. May even have something else going on down there. So it might be another face down there with a large headdress again. Let's look at the right side profile. So these are known as beard Mohawk Guy. There would be an eye right here in the nose, and then you'll always see those small little defined lips. And so that's that same big headdress, just like before. Here is a painted version of beard Mohawk Guy. So the white is his beard there. And he's got this little tiny pointy, like a feather kind of thing sticking out at the top of his head. He's got this cheekbone. Bring him in the shadows maybe. It's pretty dark in the shadows, let's keep him in the sun. But when you turn him over, of course this is now his mohawk. So that would be like his neck, and you can see his mouth in there. He's got that large carved out eye. You see the lines in there? So I was watching some, and then on the back, of course, he is a bird. He's got the recessed beak. I was watching this Indian fella from India, from the country of India, and he has a theory that, well, it's not his theory, it's kind of a known theory. He provides a lot of good evidence in his video. Maybe I'll link it below, where they could make a paste out of plant material and soften these stones to make them almost like butter. Maybe not that soft, but pretty soft. And that's how they carved into these without creating a lot of chisel marks. Now on this one, of course, you can see some chisel marks, but to be able to do this type of art without, breaking the stone and without leaving a lot of tooling marks is pretty incredible. I mean, even the archaeologists that I have tried to tell about this, they can't understand how it was made. If it is an artifact, then how was it made? And that's what they want to know. It can't be possible, right? Because it just doesn't show any tooling marks and things. Well, there's a lot of things in this world that we don't know how they work, We don't understand everything. We do understand what we see though, and we understand that there's an arrow chiseled out pointing at this face right here. And of course, when you turn him upside down, now that is his chin line, and he's got an open mouth, his nose, and he's raising his arm. You see that? Like he's howling at the moon. If you guys want to see more of this, I've made a couple videos about it. It's called the Gateway example, or the Gateway piece I've been calling it. A very beautiful rock, very beautiful stone, piece of art. Here's another kind of like I say, a broken spear point. A lot of these are uniface, they're not biface. I do have quite a few bifaces as well, but most of these are going to be uniface. You can see the edges on these. Let's go ahead and try to put this one on the stick and see what it looks like. I guess it would be a knife handle, right? You'd almost have to put the sharp end into there because it won't fit any other way. Maybe it would. It's just very blunt on this side. I guess until you get to the middle here. So let's go ahead and see if we can stick it in here. Okay, maybe something like that. Fits in there kind of snugly. Yeah, it's not as good of a fit as the other ones are, but this one is broken on the bottom and here. So really, when you look at it like this, you could see how if you were hitting something with this, if it was tied onto the stick, that maybe that whole tip and this part would break. Very cool. Now, just to clarify, I'm not seeing any faces or images in this. This is a tool. And after a tool breaks, it's possible that they would try to carve images into them. This area that I'm finding all this stuff at seems to be some type of holy site or pilgrimage site for these ancient people. This is a totem man. He's kind of a unique totem guy. Don't see a lot of faces that can just stare right at you at the site where I'm at. It's pretty old ancient art. So you have of course, staring straight at you, 2 eyes, nose, and a mouth, and When you look at them from the side profile, then you know, you can see more of the features and perhaps some different versions of faces here. And then this would be, of course, an eye and a nose on the left-hand side profile. And when I tilt them just right through the white there, you'll be able to see those little lips poking out. Just a little bit. Every single time those lips poke out. So, of course, if this happened once or twice, you know, then yeah, that's a, you know, that could be, you know, just by happenstance. But this is every single stone in this area. So I'm glad that you guys got a kick out of this. I'm sure you did. If you did, like the video so that more people can learn about this stuff, and maybe go in your backyard and see what you guys can find. Talk to you soon. Thank you for watching.